be a little bit behind. But at least mine is a little behind.
We're live, people. We are live. And I probably should get actually out of the OWLS Twitter now because Hazel might be in it. Okay. Oopsie. Oh my God, my camera needs to be better. I don't know why I keep using my internal Mac computer one. I need to get a better camera. Okay. All right. See if anybody is here yet. I'm just like, why am I doing this? you just feel ready. Okay. We have
Lita,
one person here. Sorry, go on. Was that Naja?
You were first. Your face is on the thumbnail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we've got one person here. It's AV Line Dream. Hello. How are you?
Yeah.
Is that who is that one? Oh my God. Should I? I'm terrible. I forgot who that person is. I'm so sorry. It's Hazel. Oh, it's Hazel. Okay. Okay, Hazel. I did make a tweet saying we're live, so I'm off the Twitter account for OWLS. Just so you know, you have full control now. Okay, just letting you know. Okay. So we might as well do the intro. We need to do the intro. It's my turn to host, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, my wife's feeling it's my turn to host. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the OWLS. If you know, we are known as the Otaku Liberty Warriors. I forgot the whole Shinde long name that we gave ourselves. We are a group of otaku bloggers, and every month we do a little blog tour. All our members do posts relating to the topic we have at hand, and we like to promote acceptance, positivity. This world has enough of negativity, and we are a small but small group, and we want to make a small difference in this life, in this world. It's just my lame intro for it. And, you know, we cover topics such as disability, race, gender, human equality, all that jazz. And I welcome you to OWLS End of May blog tour. And what this is us three lovely hosts. I'm known as Lita Kino. I do all the things. I'm a YouTuber. I'm a blogger. I just do so many things. And I am here with my fellow co-hosts. So please introduce yourselves.
I'm Naja. I'm Naja. I go by Poke90. I run the Otome game blog, Nice Job Breaking It Hero. And what else am I supposed to say? I'm awesome. All I can think of.
I think, hardly.
I couldn't think of anything. Oh, I crochet cute things.
I crochet great things.
I do.
She does.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes, Sailor Moon.
I even have like a little bow on her back, on her butt. That's detailed. But yeah, that's my intro. Can't think. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm head of PR. Should have said that. I'm head of PR with OWLS. So the Twitter, Facebook, the WordPress blog, I'm behind that stuff. And my minions, I have them doing stuff for me on that. So yeah, that's what I do.
We're free slave labor.
Minions. We've become enlightened at this point.
But minions here because it sounds more G.
My minions, I have you guys running everything for me behind the scenes. So usually if someone reaches out to you, it's one of the PR people. If you tweet us, it's PR person. It's either me, it's myself, Lita, Hazel, Crimson, and a couple of other folks who hit you up if you were, you hit us up on Twitter. Oh, we have Facebook. Forgot about that. Facebook as well. So yeah, PR. My awkward is over.
I'm Katrina Shard. Well, I guess on my thing it's always Katrina Sharday, but that SADE actually says Sharday because of many a confusion. And I am president of OWLS, and I also write for the blog Grim Girl. That's my blog. And my camera broke, so you guys just get to stare at this one.
We get to stare at your lovely avatar. We get to stare at your lovely avatar.
Yep, it's just gonna keep like awkwardly side-eyeing you for the entire day. So just know that that's just gonna pop up, lightly looking a little mystical and whimsical. Oh, I have to give credit to my sister for taking that picture for a blog post I did actually, and then for her blog. But yeah, so I will just be staring at you whimsically from the side eye for all of today.
I should do that. I should get professional photos taken of me. Then again, just me in an anime shirt is probably good enough. All right, well.
No.
All right, so on with what is at hand. So for the month of May, and also I should say, we lovely ladies, we talk about our fellow members' posts that have been done for this tour. And as those 3 outlets, we are known as the 3 outlets, the trio of outlets. Anyway, I should stop self-promoting ourselves. So the topic of May was strength. And I'm going to give you guys a spill because Lita likes to forget what the spill was. So strength. What comes to mind when you think of strength? Strength can come in many, many different terms. So what we focused on is your greatest strength can become your greatest weakness can become your greatest strength. In anime, characters struggle with inner demons or physical weaknesses that make them feel insecure and prevent them from achieving goals. Yet when these characters overcome their adversities, they can finally be able to express who they are, or in other words, free to be me. For this tour, we will be exploring anime characters that have overcome adversity due to a personal insecurity or physical weakness. It is these type of characters that many anime fans may identify as role models because fans are able to feel empathetic towards these characters' struggles and insecurities. So I do have to say, for the month of May, there was some very, very strong, powerful posts, I must say. I think this has probably been the best one to date, and I can feel Naja has got a lot to say. I can feel it. We know when Naja starts getting all passionate and stuff.
I commented on everyone's blog post this morning, so everyone.
Oh yeah, we're gonna roast it. We're gonna roast them. We're gonna roast them all.
I'd like to applaud everyone for having a lovely short post because thank you, Jesus. I got through every post in about an hour and a half, all of them, because you guys wrote nice, short, sweet posts. It was beautiful. Even some of the long-winded bloggers we have on the team wrote very short and succinct posts. It's wonderful. Keep it up.
I don't know if I can consider mine short or sweet. I'm sorry, I can't write short and sweet ones.
Well, I read yours in advance. So it didn't feel like I just never got around to commenting.
It's okay. All right, so how this goes is we have divided up between me, Naja, and Kat of who talks about what posts. So I'm actually going to I'm not going to start. I don't feel like it. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually going to get Kat to start us up with. Oh. And the one we're going to be talking about first is Maddie. And Maddie covered Dragon Ball Z. I was like, yes, Dragon Ball Z.
So I am always a fan of anything Dragon Ball Z. I'm going to be honest. I just automatically have just a bias for it. Like, if you're going to do a post, if you do Haikyuu, Dragon Ball Z, or Yuri on Ice, you automatically have my attention. So I like that. But what I really like is Gohan is actually, like Matt's post, he did his on talking about Gohan and kind of, finding your inner strength and realizing that being strong doesn't necessarily mean that you're always the confident or you always win. It's kind of about having to push past your own anxieties and things like that, which Gohan's character does a lot. And I've always liked Gohan's character for that. And actually, it was kind of funny that he chose this post because I wanted to use Dragon Ball Z for next month's post. And I wanted to talk about Gohan because I wanted to talk about, like, male toxicity, this idea that you can't show, like, weakness, and how Gohan is really one of the strongest characters, and like he doesn't necessarily want to fight, but when he does fight, he's actually incredibly strong, and I thought that was really cool. And then Matt kind of used that same idea for his May post, and I was like, great minds think alike, because that's like he got me. So I really liked it, and we were on kind of like the same wavelength that I was thinking about this for June, so that was pretty cool. And those are my thoughts on Matt's post. Yay!
Naja, would you like to give you a little spiel?
I anticipated it. Yes. So, Matt's post. When I started reading it, I was thinking, who is he going to write about? I had no idea. I was like, DBZ, there are a lot of strong characters. Who is he going to pick? Then when he said that it wasn't going to be who we thought it was going to be, I was like, oh, well, maybe he's going to write about Vegeta. Because, you know, maybe, because, you know, he's a villain at first. So I was thinking, oh, maybe he's going to go with that. So I'm reading it, and I'm going through, and I'm like, Gohan. Huh. Like, this is a really clever take. Okay. When you think of Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball, you don't really think of Gohan as often. You usually think of Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, all of those characters, the big names. So I really like that he picked a character that isn't always in the limelight, especially one that isn't technically considered strong at the beginning. So definitely a good take. But what I really liked about Matt's post the most was the fact that he used Marvel superheroes to kind of frame his the growth of Gohan throughout the series. Like I believe I wrote it down. I took notes this time. He started out with talking about Gohan as if he were a Peter Parker kind of character, kind of awkward, not necessarily a strong, what you would assume to be a natural hero or a leader or a fighter. And then he transitioned through his growth throughout the series to different heroes, Bruce Banner, from Bruce Banner to the Hulk, Captain America. So that was big thumbs up on that one, Matt. That was freaking awesome. But yeah, definitely an awesome post. Worth a read. Everybody should be reading it. And comment, people. I read through all of them. Guys aren't commenting.
Oh, okay, maybe, okay, you got me. Maybe I missed like a couple to comment. Okay, just settle down, down.
I'm reading through them. I'm like, okay, 4 people commented. True. See?
I just got your number.
No, I commented on Maddie's.
Yes, you did. You were one of the first to comment. I did see that. So you get a pass on it.
Well, not because it's Dragon Ball Z. Okay, maybe it is a little. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Oh yeah, I gotta give my spill.
Yes.
Money. Oh, my friend, what can I say? You just, you had to go down my nostalgia road, basically. I Dragon Ball Z was what I got up for at 6 a.m. in the morning before I went to school and got yelled at. You'll be late. I used to love being late. Matt's post, I had a feeling, actually, he might pick Dragon Ball Z because I know how much he loves. And I was like, yeah, please pick Gohan, because I love Gohan. I can never forget the moment in the Cell games, and he even brought it up in the post, of when all that hidden strength that Gohan has within him, he just lets it out. That moment is like one of my favorite anime moments, even still to this day. And what can you say about Dragon Ball Z? Dragon Ball Z is a lot about strength through their emotions. Every single character is like that, channeling. If Vegeta is an example as well. He learning to finally level up to go to Super Saiyan. Channeling all those inner emotions, but he mostly focuses on anger. Sometimes anger can go either way. Matt talks about I like the idea that he connected Peter Parker with Gohan. I like that idea, and I'm like, why don't I think of smart things like that? And but yeah, look, all around, Maddie's post was great. I felt he hit the nail on the head in terms of strength, channeling it through your hidden emotions, and Gohan was the perfect example of that. And also that and also him typing as well, it's not a sin to fight for a right cause. And that's what Gohan was feeling during some of the majority in the series. Felt like he was, felt like what he was fighting for wasn't a sin or anything. If he really believed in what he was fighting for, particularly in that moment when, he just let it all out. Sometimes we're all going to let it all out. So yeah, well done, Maddie. Okay. All right. Okay, Kat. All right. Who was your let's see. Oh, actually, no. We'll just go by the schedule. I should just go by the schedule. Otherwise, we're just going to get lost, I think. Okay. So the next person, Maddie, was on the 1st of May. The next person was on the 5th of May, and it is Nick from Chasing Japan. And I believe I got him to talk about as well. Oh, no. You've got to hear me talk about some more. Okay. So Nick's post was very, very interesting, different. He didn't specifically talk about an anime. He actually talked about when he went to Japan with his wife, and it is a very deep personal post, and it almost makes you feel like that you're there. And where he talks about the time I've got to try and remember because half the notes I wrote. He went to a place called Miyajima. It happened in World War I, where there was a set of bombs went off, I believe, and killed a lot of people. And it's known, and that place is known to be very sacred in that part of Japan, in that city. And there was like a whole guest memorial type place that was made just to mark this, really, it was a tragic day. And in the post, Nick describes of how it made him feel when he got there. It was like all surreal. And the way he quotes of how he felt. I will read one, for example. Like he says, "My wife and I were sitting quietly on the train. It was an unusually cold day in April, so cold, actually, that the cherry blossoms hadn't even begun to bloom." Talking like that made me feel like that I was there, and I'm like a big lover of history. And in terms of how this, relates to strength, that, in terms of how this, relates down to strength, admitting like I'm here, and that, oh look, it's okay. It's okay to let it all soak in of being here in this moment. And also the those type of moments can feel really surreal. And I just found Nick's post really, really powerful, and I just highly recommend, and anybody else should go read it. Every OWLS member has to go read it if you haven't, because it's a good different direction that he went in. So props to you, Nick. Props to you. And one quote he put in there was, "No, what hit me was the incredible force of humanity's strength, forgiveness." Because that was, I actually read up some background stuff on what happened on that day. And it seems that, took a lot of people for grief. I'll even read here, "The people of Hiroshima and all of Japan have, since that day, transcended hatred. The grief will forever be embedded in Japan's DNA. But the people have continued to endure it. They have proactively pursued harmony and everlasting world peace." And that is all I have to say. So good on you, Nick. Sorry, that was long. Me talking.
You said everything I would have said. It was wonderful. My notes are very brief. I was like, I love personal posts. That's literally what I wrote there. I absolutely adore personal posts like that. So I really felt like I was there with Nick and his wife, experiencing it with him. The way you wrote, like you touched on, it was just, I remember just looking at my computer screen going, wow. I don't know what to do after this. This is a powerful post. Like, what do you do after you read something like this? It was very awesome. Definitely a great post. So yeah, that's my spiel. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I literally finished reading his post and I was just like, that was beautiful. Like, that was all. That was like the first, like, his writing was beautiful. I really look forward to Nick's post because he actually reminds me. We talked about this last time with Taku being like a really kind of like a poetic writer, but I feel like Nick is also as well. Like, I always find his posts to be just very beautiful in general. His writing style to be beautiful, and then the subject matter was just. It was just, it was just wow. Like, I just finished reading that and I was like, just wow. That's all I can say, how he linked it to, like, history and just this idea of, we set off 2 atomic bombs in that country and the lasting effects are just insane. And yet we've still been able to, they've still, been able to, like, form this kind of friendship with, Americans coming to their country and us being able to, like, bond over anime and, like, things like that. I mean, I think it's just amazing the power and strength in forgiveness, because that would be I think if you lived in that time period and your family had been affected by that, how hard would it be to, be able to move forward? And that's just, I was like, this post is amazing and the subject matter was amazing and claps all around. Everyone go read it. I agree with Lita. If you didn't read it, you need to go read it right now. Just go read it.
Definitely an awesome post. Nick, awesome job. If you're here, we're going to watch this later. It's fantastic.
I know. I should really put stamp marks in this stream later so people can easily find where we're talking about certain things, but I don't know how to do that. Somebody help me on that if you know. Okay. Yes, well done, Nick. Everybody is certainly impressing us this month. Oh my God. That we haven't even gotten to the peak of the greatness of this month yet. We are moving on to one of those, because on the 10th, the next person in line was on the 10th of May, and it is Crimson. And Naja gets to talk about Crimson first off, and she looks so psyched. Prepare for a long novel.
I loved Crimson.
Oh my God.
Loved it. Oh my gosh. And preface this, I literally just got done writing an article for Manga Tokyo about 10 count. So when I saw her post, I was just like, yes, this is perfect. And the reason it was perfect is because our blog tour for the last month fell on Mental Health Awareness Month. And what I really liked about this month's tour for all of our blog tour folks is just about everyone, incorporated some aspect of mental health into their posts. And I don't know if that was intentional, but kudos to all of you, because I definitely peeked that. I saw it. I was like, this is interesting. I wonder if this was a conscious decision on everybody's part to incorporate some aspect of mental health into their posts, or if it was just the universe coming together. So I was especially pleased by that. But what really got me with Crimson's post is she picked a BL manga, which most people tend to shy away from when writing their posts. They tend to stay with more streamlined stuff. But the reason I liked it is because 10 count, while it is a BL, it doesn't necessarily focus so much on the romantic aspects. It does focus on mental health. One of the characters has mysophobia, which is, I see your faces, Lita. Well, I'm looking at your face. It's like germophobia. It's OCD a bit too, where it's a fear of contamination, a pathological fear of contamination or infection, and it takes a huge toll on his life. He has to wear gloves. He doesn't really go out. He doesn't do anything. It restricts his movements. It restricts the way he lives his life. And he doesn't, at the beginning of the story, he doesn't really feel like he needs help, like there's anything wrong with him. It's only after he runs into a counselor with questionable motives who actually calls him out on it. He's like, you're not living your life the way you should be because of your condition. This is horrible. You should seek help for it. And he initially gets upset and he's like, what are you talking about? Who are you to tell me to fix my life? This is my life. This is the way I want to live. So he gets upset, but it sparks him into seeking help for his condition. He actually meets up with the guy, and they work together to work through his condition to get better. Of course, along the way, they fall in love, and BL stuff happens. But I like the way that the author focused on the condition in a realistic way. She doesn't make it a gimmick. She doesn't just have it there for the sake of being there. She actually addresses it. It's a legitimate concern within the story. It's not something that goes away. It's not something that he can work through. It's not something that he can work through overnight and it's gone. It's something that he actually fixed. It's not something that just goes away. And Crimson's post pretty much hit on that point. She drove home the fact that while she wasn't very familiar with the condition at first, she really liked the fact that the author did talk about it in detail. There were little things that show up in the manga that that I'm getting notifications from Twitter while I'm talking, so it's kind of funny. But she touched on why it was such a great story and how at some point you have to seek help. You can't always deal with conditions on your own. So yeah, Crimson Post, my fave right now. At the top. I mean, I love everybody's. I don't pick favorites, but Crimson's is my favorite.
I'm thy offended. How dare you?
You should not be.
Oh no. Maybe we won't have that high Q stream that I keep saying we'll have.
Hey! I better be invited to that high Q stream. Otherwise, I might have to hijack it.
All right, you can go, Kat. Naja's done.
Okay, first off, I have got to read this series because I even said this in Crim's post because like you said, Naja, you made that post for Manga Tokyo, and I had like read that and then had been thinking to myself, oh man, this looks like such a good series. And then I read Crimson's post and I was like, oh my god, this looks like such a good series. Like I really need to read this.
Yes.
But I loved how she used that post one of the things I thought was really interesting that she kind of talked about was how in his life there were these people who loved and cared about him, but had just kind of grown accustomed to the way that he was and weren't really pushing him to seek help or anything like that. They were just kind of like, this is just the way it is and this is just the life he's going to be and we're just, whatever, we're just going to leave it. And I think that kind of highlights an important thing that I think sometimes when you're in this situation with somebody who is dealing with some sort of a mental health issue, you get almost like a tunnel vision and it's hard to really get that outside perspective. So I thought, man, Crim, how cool to bring in that aspect as well. And I mean, just all around, it was just a really cool post. Like all the things she just brought up and how she linked it, I was like, yay! Like I finished reading it and I was like, this was really good and I have to read this series. Why haven't I read this yet? What is wrong with me? So it has moved up my list like boom, boom, boom. It's the next thing I'm gonna read.
Yeah, you should be reading it, Kat, now. You should be reading it right this immediately.
I don't know, maybe she's at work. I don't know.
I know Lita is going to read it eventually. I saw it on a stack that she had.
Well, what stack?
Oh, that stack of manga you took pictures of a while ago.
Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about how I failed my May manga challenge thing.
You never failed that. Just read 10 count.
Okay. Right.
Well,
if anyone, had you done, Kat?
No, I'm done.
I just finished what you're saying because Naja distracted me.
I have a comment that you cut me off from.
Oh, so sorry. What?
Krim also mentioned in her post, it wasn't that she didn't speak about it at length, but she did mention briefly that she saw a bit of herself in Shiratani's character with some of his mannerisms because of his condition. She said not on the same scale as his misophobia, but she definitely saw a bit of herself in there, and I thought that was interesting. Again, you know how I like those personal touches when you guys tell your stories, so I appreciated that little tidbit. Now, Lita, you can go ahead. I'm done. Promise.
Okay, number one. People need to pay attention to my Twitter because I've already read 10 Count, the volume 1 already. I even tweeted about it, during my challenge when I wasn't failing. Anyway,
But you tag people in stuff so I can see it. I mistweet.
Oh, look. I have not read a lot of boys love manga. This is actually probably the third one I've ever read. I know, well, what is wrong with me? Why haven't I read some more? Not. I say I love the yaoi and yuri genre, but I've hardly watched or read anything by it. It's because I, I finally let out my acceptance for it, and I wasn't, shy about it. Anyway, so Crimson's post. I enjoy Crimson's post. By the way, I did not know it was mental awareness week that week. I didn't know.
All month.
All month.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know it was all month. Don't scold me. You guys have pretty much covered what I really wanted to say. I enjoyed Crimson's post. I'm glad that I read the manga, but I wasn't anticipating her to choosing it. It's given me some inspiration for June's one that I have planned. But I liked the perspective of on Shirotane. I felt very emotionally connected to Shirotane's character. Not as in I don't like germs, but who doesn't like germs? I'm obsessive when it comes to cleaning and shit. But I liked how she put herself in this post, and how that from that perspective of someone that it really takes that mental toll. And props to you, Crimson, because that's all I got to say, dear. Because everybody else has said what I wanted to say. I love your face.
Yeah, Crim did an awesome job with that one. And I should note that she said it was last minute, but it was awesome. Really well, works well under pressure.
Okay. The fields keep coming for the next one that we've got the next one up. It is our lovely Cat.
Yes.
Cat. Oh my God. I don't know where to begin. Anyway, I'm gonna let Cat. She's got to talk about her own post, and oh man. Okay, just away you go, Cat.
So my post, I did my post on Clan After Story, and it was definitely, honestly, it might have been the most personal post I've done for Grim Girl in general, I would say. The second post kind of coming up that was as personal would just me be just discussing my life with depression in general. But I think in a lot of ways, I feel like this one was even more personal than just even my discussion on that. And the point of it was, or for me, was just really discussing how, even in really like tragic situations, we can find the strength to move forward, and kind of discussing how, like, how things happen, and it doesn't always seem fair, but that is how the world works. So with my post, I talked a lot about how in the show, Tomoya, he finds Nagisa, and at first, he's kind of living this directionless life. I would say he is in a ways depressed. He had, been really into sports and things like that, and because of an injury actually due to his father, he's not able to participate anymore, and he kind of just loses, his will. But he meets Nagisa and a series of other characters, and through her specifically and mainly, he's able to kind of see like more hope in the world and realize that there are things, worth working towards, and her happiness starts to mean a lot to him, and he wants to bring her happiness. And so later, when they get married, she's always been kind of sickly, but she really wants to have a child, and he wants to make this dream come true for her. So, they go ahead and do, and unfortunately she dies during childbirth. And for a while he, can't really recover from that, but he slowly begins to kind of realize that, this is what she wanted. This is how she was choosing to kind of embrace life. And if he wanted to be there, you know, the best thing that he could do for her, the only way now that she's gone that he could like repay that kindness is by moving forward and being able to do the things that she'll never be able to do with her daughter, and that he now can. And I had a very similar relationship or kind of feelings with a friend, and his name was Adam Daniel Lewing, and we had known each other for like ever. By the time I got into like middle school and stuff, I was part of a really small class. I had like 60 kids in my class. We'd known each other for like ever, and so he had moved there, and he was just this all around like great person. And when I was going through everything with my depression, and really at, you know, in high school is when I mentioned this in my post, I hit my lowest point. And I was actually hospitalized, and what they do is they put you on a 72-hour hold. And what basically happened was my mom caught me in the middle of a suicide attempt and gave me a choice. I could either get in the car with her and go to the hospital, or she would call the hospital, the police would come, they would handcuff me and put me in the car, and they would take me to the hospital. And those were my two choices. So that's how serious it was. That's kind of where I was in life. And so I chose to go with her because I didn't, you know, this wasn't the way I wanted to live my life. I really just didn't feel I had like another way. And, you know, through this time I had my friend Adam, and he was always there for me. And I remember even when I got out of the hospital, you know, he wasn't trying to like shame me or make me feel like, you know, because there was a bunch of different reactions. You know, some people were like, oh, you know, she's just doing it for attention. Other people were like, you know, how could you do this to me? And it was kind of like almost adding more guilt to it. And he just walked up to me and he hugged me and he just said, I'm glad you're here. And that's all he said. And every day he would tell me, I would walk into school and he would say, you know, I'm glad you're here. I love you. Every day after that. And it gave me strength just to go on, that he could be so good in a world that and even care about my being when I did not care. So he was, like I said, he was a great source of strength. So in April, our junior year, he passed away during our track practice. And he died of an enlarged heart. And it was, I mean, that day, again, it was horrible because, you know, I was right there, and I remember looking at him, and I remember him looking at me, and me realizing that for the first time in our entire relationship, he wanted my help with something. And for the first time, he was reaching out to me, and there was nothing that I could do. All I could do was just stand there. And afterwards, I felt very guilty because it was something that we did together, and the only reason he joined track was to be with me. And so there was like kind of like Tomoyo's character, I felt like a lot of survivor's guilt of just, you know, maybe if I hadn't had talked him into this, or maybe if I had done this or that, this wouldn't have happened. And obviously I'm at a point in my life where I can realize that that's not true, but at the time it was very, very devastating for me. And again, in a way, it almost kind of sent me, I know a lot of the people around me were really worried about what I was going to do next, just because that was such a difficult time and it was such a shock. But one day I was able to kind of just have like this realization that just kind of like with Tomoya, that Adam wanted to live. You know, he wanted to be able to do these things. He wanted, you know, he had dreams and hopes and aspirations, and he will never get to do those things. And I can never give him those things. He gave me so much, and I can't give him those things. I can't give him the things that he would have wanted. So all I can do is just move forward and do the things that I know he would have really loved, and try my best to appreciate the fact that, you know, I am here. After that, I had a lot of feelings of why am I here and not Adam? You know, if you were going to take somebody, why not just take me? So being able to like move past that and realize that, you know, I am here and I need to do what I can to kind of make this life worthwhile. Really, I mean, he is my greatest source of strength. And I think that my relationship with him and our friendship is what has propelled me to be the person I am today. So
it was just personal. It was just personal post. And I'm kind of glad nobody can see me because I'm definitely crying. But it was just, yeah, I don't know. I hope that other people, again, and I said this in my post, if you're having thoughts like that and things like that, I hope you can find somebody in your life that can help you to move forward. And I hope that you're able to like reach out, because that's the biggest thing that you're going to be able to do, that you need to be able to do. So that's what I have to say on that subject.
Well, the only thing I can say, the only comment I can make on your post was thank you, Kat. That post was awesome. I remember, since you were one of the first bloggers to write your post, it was one of the first ones that I read. And I remember just going, wow, if this is how this tour is starting out, what do the other people have in store? Because I remembered my post and I was just like, wow, thank you. Like, it's just a really beautiful post. I can't say this enough. I really enjoy it when people tell their stories, especially when it concerns mental health. Because with mental health, it's usually something that people they deal with behind closed doors. You don't have people seeking help. You don't have people talking about it. It's not something that's readily available or discussed openly. And that's a problem, because this is a legitimate concern. This is a problem that's not being addressed. So when people share their stories, it lets others know that they aren't alone. This is not some isolated case. It's not something, you're not the only one going through something. There's someone out there who's going through the same thing you are right now. And you did your job. Your post did exactly that. It told your story in a way that was relatable to not just your situation, but to others. And then you incorporated the story of Clinad to kind of reach. It was just beautiful. Damn, I can't think of the right words to say. I'm butchering this, but it was just a beautiful post, Kat. Jesus, beautiful. Like, if I could give you more thumbs up, I would. Me and Kuma are doing like thumbs up. It was wonderful. Just like, when I wrote a comment, the only thing I could think to say was, "Oh my God, thank you, Kat. This is beautiful." We had discussed something like this before the tour had started. We were talking about this topic, and you knocked it out of the park. It was beautiful.
Thank you, Naja. Post made me say.
You have like the highest praise right now. You set the bar high, Lita.
Like I said in my comment, your post will move mountains, not just hearts.
Aww.
I mean, I was on the verge of, I felt poetic then. I felt that I could write a poem, actually. I'm very good at poetry, actually. Sorry, trying to, I know we would all go into a sad mood, you know. I'm not saying I'm not sad.
My bear. I was just like,
it's all right. When I read Kat's post, she knows that I know she read the comment that yes, I was on the verge of tears. I've never had a blog post ever make me feel like that, ever, out of all the ones I've ever read. And I honestly don't have much to say. Not saying that's a bad thing, saying that is an extremely good thing. It just takes a lot of guts to bring out that sort of story. And I'll say it took a lot of guts for me to talk about stuff in my post, I'll say. So, you know,
post, Lita.
We'll get to mine, not yet.
I read it, I was like, wow.
But look, you did set the bar high. You did this month proud.
yes.
And that is why, yes, that is why yours is my second. That's why yours is like my second favorite.
Yay.
That is why. I'm sorry, I do have a first favorite. I don't like picking favorites, but this one, I'm sorry, it connected with me on a level. But yeah, yours was something that people need to go read.
Now, right now.
So Lita will come out maybe at some point. No, I'm kidding. No, she won't. You
Not kidding.
Well done, Kat. Well done. And I can't imagine how it would have been at that time. I can't imagine. Can't imagine. Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Because like, can we just finish on that note? Because I'm just like, okay.
I don't actually remember
Okay.
who was after mine. Was it Hazel?
Yeah.
Huh?
Next is Hazel's. Hers is on owning your weakness, Hazel, and she chose sports anime. It's
Basketball.
interesting. And who gets to talk about this?
I get that one.
Ooh, I just heard like a little squeak noise. What was that squeak noise?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. No, I heard a really massive squeak noise. Okay, never mind. Okay.
Everybody, we're going to continue on.
All right.
Well, I saw Hazel's post, and this was another one I was really excited to see because I am a big fan of Kuroko no Basket. And that was like a recent find this past year, but I really, really like it. And I liked how she talked she talked about your weakness becoming your strength. And, you know, we can't change certain things about ourselves, but we can use it to kind of help others. And I actually did do a fair amount of sports in high school, so I really relate to this. I really have always related to Kuroko's character in general, and that's what I like that she brought about in her post, that he's not the best in the sport. He's never going to be the best in the sport, but he's always trying 100% and always giving it his best, and he's able to do his best and give it his all because he really truly enjoys and loves the sport. He loves the aspect of the team. He loves just like the camaraderie that he has and finds at Saren. This is kind of what almost made him lose his hope in the game, was that in his middle school game or his middle school basketball playing days when his teammates started to play more selfishly. And even though, yeah, they were really good, they were like, for lack of a honestly better term, they were real jackasses. So he was like, you guys are kind of ruining it for me. And I think that's true. I think sometimes in life, you know, I liked how Hayes brought this up because I think sometimes in life we focus too much on thinking like we have to be the best at something. And really, it's not about being the best. It's about finding things that we enjoy and love in our lives. And even as a person, like your weakness can become your greatest strength if you can channel it in a way that makes you happy, and in a way that can help others. So I really like that post, and I like that idea. Like, I think that more people have to have that idea in the world. I think if more people did have that idea of the world, of this idea of I don't need to be the best, I just need to give it my best or try my hardest and, you know, hope that it helps others and helps myself, then I think, you know, the world would be like a nicer place. Not to get all hippie on everybody, but I really do think that. I think we'd solve a lot of problems with that attitude. So I enjoyed that post because of her perspective on that. So that's my thoughts on that.
Well, Kat pretty much summed up everything I was going to say. Thank you. Saved me trouble. For once, this is a series that I've actually seen. Not all of it, but enough. And it was enough to get the gist. Yeah. When you see Kuroko, he's not what you would think he's not a character that you would think to be a basketball player. I believe even at the beginning, they're all like, oh man, this guy from this top tier school, he's from the what is it? The Generation of Miracles? I forget what they called it. But he's like, oh my God, who's this kid? And they see him and they look at him and they're just like, wait, you? Who are you? Why are you here? You're lying.
You fry.
You don't understand. And then when they actually see him in action, they're just like, you're not spectacular at anything. In particular, it's just his misdirection. He's really good at being unassuming, which is the weirdest thing in the world. But that's the epitome of owning your weakness. His strength is that he's not nobody notices him, and he runs with it and he just takes it. It's freaking awesome. It's weird, but it's awesome. So yeah, definitely an awesome post. Definitely one of those posts that gave me a good feeling, a good laugh. Awesome job, Hazel. Awesome job, Lita.
Yes. Okay. All right. I really enjoyed Hazel's post. I've not seen Kuroko no Basket yet. It's on my It is the next sports anime I will be watching. I'm already watching too many things. But honestly, I really enjoyed Hazel's post because the main character, Kuroko, very reminded me of when I watched the anime Days, the soccer anime. Everybody should watch that. That's a really, really nice sports anime, you know. Took me back to my childhood and my footy cheering days. Back in the UK though. So the main character is in Days is Skamoto, and he's clumsy, he's useless at everything pretty much. But he's like Kuroko, yeah, useless. He's like Kuroko, he ends up realizing and utilizing his strength, which is known as a decoy for the team, which, you know, he becomes the decoy when all the other players are focusing on him. They're not watching the other players of what they're doing, and that's why I feel Kuroko and Skamoto end up relating to each other in that sense. And that's what I really loved about Hazel's post. It took me back to how much I really enjoyed Days, the soccer anime, and of how the two characters relate together. And as they say, strength are in numbers. So I really enjoyed your post, Hazel. You get a cream pie. No, kidding. You get an apple pie. You get an apple pie. Apple pie. A nice warm apple pie. Not to go on your face, okay? Because these two are probably thinking that. No, just you get an apple pie. So everybody gets a different pie. I'm sorry for the ones and I didn't say what kind of pie you get. It means different things. Apple pie is nice and warm, and it felt homely. It was at home. So there you go. All right. So who's next up? Let's see. Enough about pies. All right. Hang on. Okay. So the next one I have to talk about. I've got to collect myself. The next one. I just saw your tweet, Kat, talking about friggin'. Okay. So the next one I talk about is Steph from Two Happy Cats. I love that name. I love the name of her blog. By the way, I love the name of your blog, Steph. Two Happy Cats. It's great. Great girl. Okay, so she covered strength in hope. How we hope for things, but they don't really work out. So she covered the anime Duncan Rampa. I'm like, this is okay. This is a series I've not seen. And I really enjoyed Steph's short but sweet post. And she connected a part of Australian history, because if you guys don't know, she's a fellow Aussie blogger like me. So we are unique. The only two Aussie bloggers on our team in the OWLS members. Anyway. So she talks about, I know what Duncan Rapart is involved. I know Kat likes this show. Do you like this show, Kat? Is it you that likes it, or am I thinking of somebody else? I think I'm thinking of somebody else.
I think you're thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, it's okay. Never mind. I just face moment. So Duncan Rampart is about a group of students. It's like a death or life game. You know, you've seen those in anime where they have to survive. Basically, they're trapped in, like, a group of high school students are trapped. The only way out is to kill one of your classmates and not get caught. That's just from Steph's post, by the way. And she talks about the main character, Nagi. My pronunciation in names is so lame. It talks about the main character, Nagi, and of how that he has this unfounding hope that he will be known as the ultimate lucky student because of his happy-go-lucky personality and steadfast belief. In his hope, he will be rewarded the title of Ultimate Hope. And I liked how she related this to the main character. I mean, it's made me interested in Duncan Rampa, honestly, because I've never really actually been interested in the series until now, and of how he seems to believe that he will make it through with his friends and that there's hope at the end of the tunnel. And that's when she goes to mention a couple of very well-known quotes, which is from Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream, or one of my favorites is by Robert Kennedy, which is each time a man stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lots of others or strikes out against injustice, he sounds out a tiny ripple of hope. You know how much that quote has a lot of powerful meaning? I mean, it has a profound lot. And this is when she goes back into Australian history, which I studied, history and that here and that. So I was fully aware of what Steph was relating to, which was going back. We have people such here known as Indigenous people, or they are known as Aboriginal people. And there was a certain person that stroked change in that. It was in 1965. He was a university student known as Charles Perkins. And he brought out the change in push for indigenous people, because all indigenous people want is to be recognised as one of the Australians. For example, in one of the states here in Sydney is known as New South Wales. Back in that time, if people wanted to use the swimming pool, the indigenous kids weren't allowed to use it because there was white people. They weren't allowed to swim in the same pool as like an average white Australian. And this is why also that she goes to say, a quote from Charles Perkins in a some think swear word, sorry, like me, explains that the freedom rides were done in a response to the civil rights movement in America. He had seen the hope for change in America and wanted to bring that to the indigenous people, because I know how tough it is for you guys in America. I know, by the way, I love your American history. Oh my God, it still fascinates me. But I love how she connected this, and then she relates to the certain topic we're going to be talking about this month in June. Holy crap, it's June. That there's a certain parade that's held in Australia that's been held since 1978, which means, Pride Month. Anybody get it? Pride Month. So I liked that how she connected an anime and a part of a history to describe strength in hope. That is my spill. So well done, Kat. I mean, Steph. Well done, Steph. All right. You go, Naja.
I remember you mentioned the Freedom Rides, correct? Last blog tour, we were discussing race and civil rights in the U.S. So when I saw it again this time around, I was like, ha! I know this one. Because Lita told me about it, but it was nice to see it in more detail, because in the States, we tend to get a very narrow world view of, events. We don't learn world history in the traditional sense. So it's always great to learn about different struggles in different places and how it kind of relates back to some of the things that have happened here, whether it was started up by something that we were doing here, like the civil rights movement, sparking the Freedom Ride. So it was very interesting to see that. I love that she tied it in. I've never seen Danganronpa. Probably never will. Probably never will play the games either. Sorry. It's one of those things that's not a high priority right now. But I really like the tie-in to real world events. So awesome job, Steph. Awesome. Kat.
My turn.
Yes.
I've never seen the show either, but it actually sounds like a show that I might kind of dig. But my queue list is insane, so we'll have to see when that comes up into the watch sphere. But I really like when anybody, I love learning about history, so anytime anybody relates something, ties it to like their country's history, I love seeing that perspective. Kind of like how Naja just mentioned, in America and our schooling, world history isn't even a required class, if I remember correctly. It's like an elective if you want to. And the only things that we're required to do is it's like U.S. history 1 and 2.
U.S. history.
Yeah. So if your country has somehow effect on the U.S. history, then we'll learn a little bit about your country, but just how it affected us. Like nothing else. We could probably go into a whole spiel about that. So I really like when people do a post kind of like Steph's post where they kind of relate it to what's going on in their country and give that perspective, because I think that's one of the coolest things about OWLS is that we can get a different perspective from a different country. Because that was the only time I've ever heard about this topic is when Lita mentioned it on last stream, and then now when I read the stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. So that's what I have to say about that.
I'm just like,
Yes.
me. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, Steph, what kind of pie do you get? Let's see. I know she loves a lot of sweet things, because if you guys should go actually check out her Melbourne travel type posts where she goes to different places where she lives in Melbourne. Steph, you get a cherry pie because you're so sweet. So you get a cherry pie. I love cherry pie. Anyway, it's just going to be the pie talk here. Okay. All right. So next up is
Right.
next up.
Right.
I was about to say that. I knew that. I knew
I
that.
stole it. I stole your limelight, man.
Okay. So it is Rai. Oh, I call her. Why do I keep calling her Ray lately? I keep calling her Ray, but it's Rai, and her topic was, oh my God, no, please don't do that, computer. It was strength by overcoming anxiety in Amanchu. Now I know I said Cats was my second favorite. This is my favorite for this month. Out of everyone's, I loved everyone's, but why it is my favorite. It hit a very strong topic for me and personal one, because Rai just, oh my God, she just killed it, and she just had to use a Manchu, which I absolutely love this slice of life series. And if you have not seen this series, you frigging go need to. For anybody that suffers or deals with anxiety itself, it's a great, that is displayed through the main character Futaba. She moves to a brand new town, and she's been scared her whole life. She's never had friends. She's just been afraid the whole time. And what Rai does so well in this post is she breaks it down for you. She goes into what is anxiety. And then she goes into talking about Futaba in social anxiety, and she brings up about herself a little bit in that segment as well. She puts herself in this. She does it from a great perspective on the main character, Futaba in Amanchu. And she also, this caters to its readers as well on the topic, that they feel like they're able to bond with this. And she also brings out also about, it goes a little bit scientific and saying, according to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, social anxiety is the fear of being judged by people in other social situations. I mean, I didn't know that there was Anxiety and Depression Association of America. I had no idea. And then there's when she goes into generalized anxiety disorder, and this is experiencing of what, or telling, this is what the main character Futaba has. And then she concludes in overcoming, strength, that basically, any of us that deal with anxiety and that, we just need somebody. We just need somebody to talk to. And I just loved Rai's post all around. I mean, coming from someone like I have, many don't know, I have autism. I will go into that when I talk about my post. But I have a different form of anxiety when it comes to somebody with autism. I do. And that's what I felt very related to Rai's post. So Rai, you get a blueberry pie, because blueberry is my favorite fruit ever. It was like my favorite berry. So you get a blueberry pie. I just loved your post so much. You have no idea. Blueberry pie for you. Okay. All right. Who's going up next? Let's see. Naja, you can go next.
I'm looking at the list, and I just realized you put all of my posts that I'm doing at the very bottom. I wonder if that was But Rai's post, I've never seen this anime, and no, I won't watch it. Come at me, Thug Lita, come at me. I'm not gonna watch it. But I really like this post. I got my bachelor's in psychology, so I really appreciated her going into detail about what anxiety was and general anxiety disorder and breaking it down into the specifics. That is really important. So that was a big bonus point for me. I also really appreciated how she drew parallels from her own life and applied them to, I know I wrote this down. The main character, I didn't write the name down, sorry. Teku? What was the name of the main character again? But how she applied it to...
Futaba.
How she applied it to their journey in the anime series. It was a really great post, awesome. Personal, had anime related stuff. It also had the technical side of things. Double thumbs up, perfect. And it was short and sweet.
Naja's favorite.
Always my favorite. Short and sweet, and you have a thumbs up already. But yeah, that's my spiel. Really enjoyed it. I really loved the psychological viewpoint that she gave. Definitely one of the best posts. Awesome.
This was one of my, I don't think that this will come to a surprise to anyone, that this is definitely one of my favorite posts for sure. I've talked about this before on Grim Girl, but along with my depression, I also am diagnosed with general anxiety. So I can really like, I've never seen this series, but I can really relate, like, just what this character is talking about. I can really relate to, like, this idea of becoming fixated on something. She used that example of when they were trying to go scuba diving, and she kind of got this idea in her head of what could happen, and then that's all she could think about. So I can really, that is, I haven't seen the series, but that idea right there is a realistic portrayal of anxiety. And I think it's really, I feel like I made this comment on Ray's post as well. I thought it was really cool that she wrote on this topic. I feel like anxiety isn't necessarily talked, I don't know how it is in other countries, but so I'm taking it from a US perspective, it's not really talked about enough. And I also think a lot of times it's kind of misrepresented with people, like what anxiety is. Like people will say like, oh, I have anxiety because I like worry about something, but they don't really understand like in anxiety, like the seriousness of it. Like an anxiety can get so bad where it leaves you not even able to get out of bed because you're so afraid of whatever it is that you think is going to happen is going to happen. I have driven somewhere and thought to myself that something like really tiny, like I'll be driving and I'll think to myself, did I shut the oven off? For instance, let's say I think, did I shut the oven off? A normal person would just be able to just kind of be like, think about it and be like, no, I shut it off and call it a day. I've done something like that where it's like, I know that I did. I wouldn't have even used the oven, but I think in my head, like, what if somehow it got turned on and then the house gets on fire and Adam and Nadia are sleeping and then they like die. I've literally driven back home from work to check on this. Just because in my head, if I can't see it, even if Adam's like, no, it's off, I can't get past it because I just have that anxiety like going through. So I think the fact that she wanted to talk about it and kind of shed light on that subject for people and use her platform to discuss it was simply amazing and awesome. So I really, really loved this post and I really related to it. And even though I've never seen the show, I feel like I could relate to the character. That's what I think about that. That's all I have to say, guys.
I know. No.
What was that noise?
I know, are you dying?
Sorry, my throat seriously just clogged up with horrible gunk and shit. No. No, I wasn't going, no, I'm kidding. No. I really wasn't that. Okay. All right. Yay, blueberry pie for you, Rye. Nobody else gets any more pie henceforth. No. Joking. All right. Next up is our wonderful Aria. Aria, that's how I say her name. And she covered the anime Space Brothers. I've not seen Space Brothers, but who did I give this to?
Either.
Not me.
No, that was
mine.
me.
Literally at the end.
Was that you? No, wait. No, you, Kat. I gave it to you, Kat, didn't
Yeah,
I?
it's mine.
This is where my mind is scrambled eggs in the morning. Apologize, people.
I feel like we did this on purpose. All of mine are at the end. They're literally the last 3.
Yes, Arya's.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So I've actually never seen this show as well, but what I liked about Arya doing and choosing this one is Space Brothers is again, I haven't seen this. I'm just going off her post and what she says that it is about. So please, if I say something incorrectly, correct me later or right now if you know. But it's about 2 brothers who kind of have this dream about becoming astronauts when they're like little kids. They're like, oh yeah, that would be really cool. And as they get older, of course, people are bringing all kinds of negativity towards them and are like, that's not a realistic dream and you're never going to be able to do it and blah, 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 blah. And the older brother kind of succumbs to this kind of pressure and just kind of gives up on this dream and is like, whatever, I'm never going to be able to do it. And the younger brother holds strong. And in the end, the younger brother makes his dream of becoming an astronaut, and he's scheduled to be like one of the first Japanese men to walk the moon. And his older brother is both like proud of his brother, but also kind of, jealous of the fact that, his brother kind of moved forward with this dream and tried to and didn't lose faith in it. And eventually kind of what happens is he, ends up kind of getting a chance to live his dream as well. And even though he's in the shadow of his younger brother, and it kind of just goes through his like trials and tribulations of moving forward. And I think that from the sound of and what Arya was saying, I thought it was like really like just the idea of, we all have these dreams, and I think it's interesting how when we're kids, you say these things like, I'm going to be a singer, I'm going to be an astronaut, or I'm going to be whatever, and people are like, oh, that's so cute, yeah, you can do it. But then as you get older, people are like, that's a stupid dream, and I can't believe you want to do that, which is something I noticed is kind of an education world, and it's really sad when you think about it. So I think it was cool to kind of see those 2 perspectives of one, brother being able to push past that, and another brother kind of stumbling, but then being able to be like, no, you know what? I'm gonna live my dream as well. And I think sometimes that's just what you gotta do. So I thought that was a cool post. Thumbs up, Arya. I hope Lita gets a really cool pie. When it's her turn to talk about you.
Is it my go? Yeah, it's my go, isn't it? Kat, you pretty much hit everything I was going to say. Thank you. But Spoilers has been on my must-watch list for quite some time. I just never got around to it. And after reading this post, I definitely pulled it up and was getting ready to watch it, then got distracted again. But I'll definitely be watching it soon. It just sounds like an awesome series. I really, 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 really liked how she went into detail about how insecurities, it's not necessarily some outside obstacle that keeps us from reaching our goals and our dreams, but our own internal struggles, our own insecurities that keep us from moving forward and moving on. A lot of times when we think of obstacles, we think of external factors stopping us from doing things. So it was a great idea to look at it from a different perspective. That was something I really appreciated. But yeah, Kat pretty much said everything I was gonna say. So awesome post, Arya. Loved it. Kuma loved it too. Okay, Lita. All on you.
What? Kidding. So I've known about Space Brothers for a long time. It's a series I really want to. It's a long ass series. It's like 50 episodes or something. That'll be a hell of a ride, that will. And Arya, you did splendidly, my darling. You get called my darling. Nobody else gets called darling today. I loved yeah. But you want to be? I'll call you dear. You can be called dear. Then again, I call everybody dear. I loved how dear Naja. Oh wait, no, it's sweet Naja. No, sweet Naja. Sorry, it's sweet Naja. You're like, sweet Naja, can you do this for me? No, anyway, I loved Ari's post. And Again, you guys have half said that I wanted to say. I liked how she went in detail about how they got to their dream they did. And one little quote that she put in here, which sung true, was some of us would rather give up on our dreams than go against what's expected of us. Which is true. I've given up on so much shit in the past and I've not gone against what others expected of me. And I feel that these two boys went through hell and back to get to their dream of becoming an astronaut. And the whole meaning ringing singing of this post is that you should just don't cliche to this, shouldn't give up on your dreams. And I like how she says, it is our own choice whether to let our insecurities chain us or use them to make wings and fly. I wish I could fly. I used to sit in the back of my car on my way home from school, and I used to imagine I'm looking up in the sky. Now I'm flying in the sky. Did you guys know that? Anyway, childhood story there. Well, look, all around, Aria, you did a great, splendid job, my darling. Is it called darling or dear? Let's see, what pie do you get? What's one I've not tried before? Maybe you can have an unknown pie. Oh, okay. No, blackberry. Okay, you get blackberry pie. By the way, blackberry pie is awesome. Blackberry pie is awesome. It's sweet yet bitter, like Aria. Sweet yet bitter. I'm not saying she's bitter. It's all the nagging. Anyway. Okay, that's my thoughts on Aria's post. Okay, who's next? Because I am seriously. Oh,
you.
Is it me?
Yes.
It's me.
You just got to talk twice in a row. I haven't let a post in this entire stream. I'm revolting. I'm on strike. No.
Naja's getting annoyed. Ooh.
I'm sitting here like, when is it my turn? Never.
Okay, no, that's okay. You get wait. You get to talk about the next two. So what are you complaining about? You'll be fine. Wait, no.
The next three.
Ooh, there you go. Okay, anyway. Okay, so next post is mine somehow. So I covered a silent voice, and the title of it is Having Strength in Your Voice. Now, I enjoyed a silent voice more than your name. Give me your comment hates now, people. Because a silent voice covered from a very deep perspective. Now, this manga and series alone has just kind of exploded in popularity. Loads of people I know, like Shay, my co-host for my podcast, she's just recently picked up the manga when she was at Fan Anime just the weekend gone. And I know she just put up a review somewhere. But when I saw this in cinema, I was left speechless. I've not had a movie leave me speechless for a long, long time. And I was talking with Lynn. I was like, what should I use for this month? And she's like, you could just do a silent voice that you just saw. I'm like, oh, yeah. So I've been saving to talk about this post because I was just going to do another post in general. And just give you guys a basic synopsis of the story if no one's really read the manga, which you should just freaking go read it. So the story is about two individuals, Shoya and Shoko. Shoko is deaf, in hearing impaired. And she comes to a school and she's put in mainstream. And she becomes the amusement of Shoya, who bullies her constantly. What are you smiling about, Naja? And it's like I can see you smiling. Okay. But yeah, so she becomes the amusement of Shoya, and it ends up leading her to transferring schools. And then Shoya ends up feeling guilt weighing on him, and he ends up being bullied himself. And then later in life, the two meet again. And Shoya is not the same person he was when he was younger. He really wants to try and redeem himself with Shoko, try to be her friend, but he doesn't really know how to go about it since he's never really had a real friend himself. And the person behind the series is, everybody knows, is Yamada, and she's known for focusing more on her female leads all the time. This is the first time she's really took the focus on a male lead, I want to say. Interesting fact. And yes, this is one of the most personal posts I think I've ever written, because I talk about coming from a very dark time for myself. This is back in the UK in high school, that I called the bullies my friends, because you don't want to be like on your lonesome and that. And I will say that I suffered 3 years of them and didn't really escape them when I went to college. I really escaped them until I moved here to Australia, thank God. But yeah, it's a very dark time for me, and there was a point. It got to a very serious point. I'm not going to reveal like everything because I don't want to be too depressive. But yeah, I got to a point, and I was in a dark hole, and this is why I related to Rye's post very, very strongly. And also I wanted people to understand, well, have somewhat an understanding coming from a autism perspective, that I found myself relating to Shoko, because of her, well, I say disability, she's just hearing impaired, and me having autism, as people, we are misunderstood. We are misunderstood, and that Shoko in the movie was always sorry all the time for a lot of things, and I've repeated, I can't tell you how many times I've repeated that word sorry a lot in my life. But really it just kind of kills you inside. And that's when, with Shoko and Shoya, that mostly I ended up really relating to Shoya. He really just wanted to redeem himself, but he didn't know how to go about it, and that's why he was really, really misunderstood. And I want to say for people like us, but for someone like me that has my condition, you don't want to be misunderstood. You kind of just want to be heard. And it's hard for people who don't understand what it's like. It's hard for them to understand, and then they can get ignorant about it, which I've had that in the past. And it just, this story just will resonate with you in somewhat way. And just this movie as a whole, it was really beautiful, particularly the end, towards the end of the movie. I was like seriously bawling my eyes out. I was. And also I relate into the post as well, talking about anxiety, autism. There's no such thing as called autism anxiety really, but the anxiety I have, I call them like mental meltdowns. Everything stops with me. I'm not paying attention to anything that's around me. I'm focusing on what it is that is worrying me, and it's like I block out everything. It's very different to how, there's all these different types of anxieties and stuff. Everybody deals with their own anxiety, they do. But for me, it's like the world just stops. Like, I don't want to know. That's how it is for me. It happens. I want to say on a weekly basis, honestly. Look, used to happen on a daily basis. It's gone slowly down, but I'm not the same person I was in high school. You wouldn't want to know me then. I was a depressive thing in a hole somewhere. But yeah, so I had a lot of people kind of concerned when they were commenting on this post. They were like, "Oh no, I hope you're not suffering with it so much now." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't mean to like concern people," but I reassured them and said, "No, I'm not the same person. I don't carry a lot of what the past has done to me. Sometimes I still do, but look, I highly recommend that people go give Silent Voice a read or watch the movie. People can be so fussy. Oh, the manga left out this, blah blah blah. I would prefer the movie over the manga, honestly. Anyway, I'm done with my long rant. Okay, who would like to
My comment, my like legit comment that I wrote down is,
I read it.
damn, what is it with all these posts this month giving me all these feels? Lita, you were telling me I was going to love it, and I love this post more than I thought. Like, you went above and beyond. You know I love personal posts. I love when people share their stories, and I really enjoyed reading your story. I really enjoyed you sharing your experiences with us. I really appreciated that. For a lot of folks, middle school and high school are not the most enjoyable periods in their lives. Some of the people that you know then that are your friends aren't your friends afterwards. And just seeing you now and knowing you now and reading your past and what you went through, just like, I know her. She's awesome. Kicks ass. She definitely grew so much from where she was before to where she is now. And it's just like, damn, I know that person. Freaking awesome. Like, that's how I felt reading your post. I was just like, yes. Like with Kat, it was like, thank you for writing this. I appreciate you guys sharing your stories, especially with the OWLS platform. These are stories that need to be told. These are things that we need to get out there. We shouldn't keep quiet because someone else is probably going through a similar experience. You mentioned that a lot of people are like, oh my God, I hope you're okay. I hope everything's fine. I hope you're not still going through this. But it's more so the person who isn't commenting. It's the person who's reading it and going, man, that's the same thing as me. Someone else is going through this too. Wow, I'm not alone. So awesome. Just perfection. Lita, it was beautiful. It was better than I had.
Yeah. No, I feel a lot of the same way as Naja. Like, I thought it was just a really cool post and just insightful. And I just thought, like, oh man, Lita is just awesome. And you know, like, know your life. Because I do think that, you know, I know that it's hard to kind of write like a more personal post, so I really appreciate that you did. And you know, it was insightful and it gives people a different perspective on something that might not, again, like, people might be feeling like alone, or maybe like they're the only person dealing with this situation, but you know, they come across your post and, you know, it makes them feel hopeful and reminds us that we're all a lot more similar to each other than we might think at first. So I really enjoyed your post. Yours was another one that I was like, love it. I just finished it. It was like perfection. Wait, you know what? You always give out that. I'm gonna give you a pie because you can't give yourself a pie. Turtle. I would give her. I give like are you a fan of chocolate, Lita?
Yes, I like chocolate. Not too much, but I like chocolate.
I'd give you a turtle pie. I don't know if you've ever had one of those, but they're super chocolate.
I've never heard of that. What is a turtle pie?
Duck.
I don't know if it's like a Wisconsin thing, but we always like have them. But it always has like chocolate and caramel, and it's awesome. So you get one of those.
Oh, nice.
You get all the awesome things all rolled up into one.
Thank you. I'll imagine this pie in my head, and I'll eat it later. There you go. Thank you. I'll get all teary. Okay, before we get all teary, right? Let's move on. All right. I've had enough. I hate talking about me. All right. So next up is
me. Finally.
No, it's Poetic Taku. It's Poetic Taku.
I mean, it's my post. I can talk about it. Finally. Waiting for this.
And a little side note, I bet Taku's been watching this the whole time, and he's not said
anything until we bring
his not said a thing. He will appear in the next 5 seconds.
Usually what happens, usually just pops up when we start talking about him. Taku's post. I've never, ever in my life heard of Grimgar, nor have I seen it. This is the first time ever. Yes, gasp collectively. I know it's been a while since I've said this, but I've never seen the series, never heard about it, never thought about it. So I went into this post completely blind. And as always, Taku does this amazing thing where he explains it in a way that I don't ever have to watch the series again, but I know what happened. Beautiful. It's wonderful. It's magnificent. This was an interesting one. I've seen series where, and I've actually just recently played a game where characters were sent to an RPG and they're forced to kind of survive in this world. Who is calling Taku like 500 times? Lita, stop! So, I'm familiar with that premise, but they usually have some kind of, it's not as realistic as it could be. The stakes aren't as high as you would think they should be. So to actually see, wow, Lita whispers. So to actually see that the series actually deals with it in a realistic way, that people will die. It's not some happy-go-lucky, we're in this virtual world, we're just gonna be happy and live and survive, actually knowing that these characters struggle and have to work hard together and collectively to reach the end goal. You know, it's awesome. Stop it, you guys. Like, I'm seeing the comments. I should also note that in this post, Taku decided to use a new writing technique. Since Lita said that his writing was poetic, he used a more poetic style. And actually, at one point in the post, it reminded me of like, forget what it's called, what kind of poem, but it was written in the way a poem would be written. Like each was like 2 lines and then space and then 2 more lines. So I thought that was really clever on Taku's part. I like it. Keep it up. It was short and sweet. It was beautiful. But yeah, it was a great post all around. I really appreciated the way that he talked about the series. No, not stanzas. It's a type of poem. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say limerick, but that's wrong. But yeah, it was just a really awesome post. Like, fantastic. That's my spiel, because you know we got time constraints on this one. Next. Wow. I'm looking at this and it's just like Taku.
No, I was saying I thought anyone hearing me just burp then.
What? No, I did not. Thank you for letting us know. I'll just rewatch the video later.
Sorry. Go on, Kat. Go on.
Yeah, I did my spiel. One of you lovely people.
Oh my goodness. I'll go next. Well, as usual, I agree with Naja. Like, Taku always has a very beautiful style of writing. And I've never ever heard of this or watched it or done anything with it before. But like, you don't need to know after you read the post. You really don't need to watch it to kind of get it, because he does such a great job of just kind of explaining everything. I'm always drawn to posts that kind of have that idea of finding strength in tragedy, just because I think that gives us all a bit of hope when something bad happens. Like, you can still find some goodness in the world. So I've always enjoyed. I always find those kinds of posts to be a little uplifting. The idea that we can still kind of hope forward. So yeah, so I really, really enjoyed that, and I thought it was beautifully written as usual. And I enjoyed the new post format. I thought that was really cool. I don't even know how do people do that with my granny tech skills. I never do anything. Like, Naja, you're always doing those page breaks and all that kind of stuff. Like, Taku's got this
mad skills.
Like, I literally, the fact that I can make certain things bold and italicized, I'm like, nailed it. I'm super good at tech stuff. Like, God, why is everyone so good?
It's detailed and mad skills. All those page jumps and all those links and stuff take time. Take me about an hour, and you guys read my stuff in like 10 minutes, and I'm just like, Leah.
Yay! I get to talk about my beautiful Taku. It's okay. I really don't favorite him, honestly. No, you can go aside. No. I'm joking. Okay, finally, actually get to talk about Taku, and he's actually here. My preaching, he heard us. He heard as it rung through the skies. Anyway, I've known about Grimgar for a long time, and again, my friend bought the limited edition recently, and he just loves this show, and he's like, oh yeah, a bunch of people die. I'm like, great. Is it like one of those game things, like where people are stuck in the game or an alternate world? But the way Taku presented it is like he's a poet and he didn't know it. No, that's really lame, by the way. That was a really lame
I love it.
I love your format, Taku. I absolutely love your new format. Bro, you need to keep doing that. You need to keep doing that, seriously. Get on that shit. But I like the special shout out you mentioned to Rocco and Jamie. That was really cute. I love the main bit here where we go into strength is more than good stats. And the when you say, when you think RPG stats, strength and toughness are what jump at you first naturally. Now, when I say strongest, having the best weapon, armor, or the gear is essential, right? In Grimgar, that's what I guess the Haruhi in the gang thought, but they couldn't have been more wrong. And I like how you go from there that it's not about that. And that, you know, you also go into without comfort to them, they all experience petty conflict with one another. And it seems that it tears them apart. And I'm just like, oh, really? And I loved the bit where you're like, they come to understand what ashes meant and that they use their tears, innate weaknesses and unfamiliarity to bond closer with one another. Oh my God, you got me. Like, they came to understand what ashes meant. I was like, I love this bit. I love this bit. And I thought you did so well displaying how beautiful this series is. And by the way, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to swear, but the fucking animation looks amazing. It looks amazing. Excuse the language. I know I don't like to swear much, but seriously, it looks amazing. And I just love how you describe Grimgar in a beautiful light. I need to recommend this post actually to my friend to say, hey, go read this. But yeah, let's see. What pie does Taku get? Let's see. You get a lemon meringue pie because that's the favorite my nan used to make me, and my mum made me actually like 3 weeks ago. So you get a lemon meringue pie because you are sweet and sour. I'm done.
That makes me think of that kids' book series, Amelia Bedelia. Thanks, Lita. Like, I'm having flashbacks to being a kid. Like, Amelia Bedelia was like this nanny, and all she made the most delicious lemon meringue pie.
Who doesn't love lemon meringue pie? Oh my God, who doesn't love it?
She would always do things wrong. She would always do things backwards, but the one thing she was good at was making these lemon meringue pies.
That's all you really good at in life is making pie.
Well, it was really bad. My dad was really nagging my mum to make a pie, so she finally gave in. But yes, bravo Taku. I loved it. Okay, he's up next. Lo and behold, it's me again.
Me.
Joking. It's our lovely Naja. I have a lot to say about yours.
Really?
have a lot to say. Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Right.
So I actually had a really hard time coming up with my topic. Literally the last minute I came up with it. It's actually funny. I sign up for these tours and I never have an anime picked out. So it's really literally random pick by the time my post comes up. But what got me to think about writing this post was an incident that happened on Twitter. Some of you OWLS people know already or might remember. But someone made a cry for help, and I was concerned. I was like, what's going on? You know, somebody reach out. We should reach out to this person, speak with them, let them know that they're not alone. And it's also Mental Health Awareness Month was May. So it got me thinking, it was like, well, strength, what about mental health? And we talk about mental health and how strength isn't necessarily something physical or something that you're good at, but it's reaching out, talking with other people, knowing that you're struggling together, which got me thinking about this animated movie called Colorful, which came out in 2010. Not the other Colorful, because I've been told that there's another Colorful that is suspect. So this animated movie follows, I'm sorry, disclaimer. Spoiler warning for everyone who hasn't seen Colorful. I'm going to spoil the crap out of it because I can't explain it without spoiling it. Sorry. Just so you know now. The story follows a lost soul that committed a sin in its past life, and it's given the opportunity to rejoin the cycle of life and be reborn as another person. But they have to do a homestay in the body of a young boy, a middle schooler who's recently committed suicide. So this soul is reluctantly dropped into the body of this kid who just committed suicide, and he has to live as this kid. And he has to figure out why the kid decided to commit suicide. And he also has to figure out what his sin or its sin was in its past life so they can move on. It's a temporary thing. So you interact with the different people in this boy's life, his family. He doesn't really have any friends. He's alone all the time. And you get to interact with them and you get to learn about what roles they had in his suicide. You got the mother who was having an affair. The girl he liked, she was selling herself to older men. His father knew about the mom's affair, but he didn't really do anything. His brother doesn't really help him. He was in a dark place. He had this miserable life, and he was at a point where he couldn't talk to anybody, he couldn't do anything, so he decided to just end his life. I'm butchering my own post. I don't understand how that's possible. But I really wanted to talk about this because suicide is it's a very important topic. I've had a close family member who did commit suicide. So I may not have been me personally doing it, but I know what it's like to be a family member of someone who has committed suicide and have that, not necessarily survivor's guilt, as Kat mentioned before, but just knowing what it's like to be on the other side, that loss, that space, that person who's not there. So I really related with the family in this show, especially when Makoto, the boy who committed suicide, comes back from the hospital, and how everyone is just like, they're trying to reassure him that life is great, how he's awesome, how, we miss him, we love him, these things that reassure him that he's needed, he's wanted, he's loved. These are things that I would have wanted to have said to that family member if I had the opportunity. So it was a personal post for me, though it doesn't really necessarily come out personally when I wrote it. But it was just an interesting post because rather than having a really preachy bottom line of, oh, live your life, be happy, suicide is not the answer, it was more of accepting that you have these darknesses, that you have these bad moments, these sad moments, that everyone has them. Everyone is feeling the same way. Maybe they don't manifest in the same way. Maybe they may not try to commit suicide or take their own lives, but everyone is struggling with something, and just accepting that part of yourself and understanding it helps you move forward and move on from those different situations. So yeah, and it was more, I don't know how I can butcher my own explanation of my own post, but I did it. It's wonderful. But yeah, that was pretty much my post in a nutshell. And I have nothing else to say about it. Please, someone else say something. Please.
Well, I adored your post, Naja. I really, really did. And I thought you brought up, like, in the thing, I know you were, like, afraid that it might come off as, like a preachy thing, but I didn't think it did. I thought it came off as, like, really, like, natural and, like, realistic about, but I've never seen this movie before, but your post really made me want to. And I liked how you talked about how, it's not always like these big glaring signs. Like sometimes it's like these kind of subtle things, and you discuss like how his artwork started changing, throughout, like as he got into this kind of like dark place. And I think that's something to really, like, people need to understand, because like a lot of times, I do feel that when something like this happens, there's this sense of kind of like you're talking about, like how his family members are kind of feeling kind of like this like guilt in a way of like not being able to like see this, and like an understanding I think needs to be made that a lot of times, you know, these until like towards like the like someone's like worst point, a lot of these signs are going to be kind of more subtle, and you shouldn't like beat yourself up about it if you miss things. But at the same time, if you even have like an inkling of just like a, hey, that seems a little strange,
Reach out.
well, yeah, to like reach out, because a lot of times those signs can be so subtle. So I thought it was really good that you brought up that topic in your post, because I don't think a lot of times people really talk about how subtle it can be, and especially in media, I would say it's always kind of shown as, if it's talked about, it's always shown as more dramatic, almost like, you know, for a fact that person's the depressed one because they're dressed a certain way, or, you know, something like that.
Cut their hair, something drastic.
Yeah, something drastic has happened, and that's just not, I'm not saying that that can't happen, but I'm saying that that's not always the way. And so I thought pointing that out in your post, like showing that diversity, was really just like a good thing to do. And then also just, again, really just realistic at looking at the subject matter. And then the talking of like, we do all go through, you know, hard things in our lives. And I think that's something that we need to be reminded of, because especially with certain mental health issues, like you begin to think that you're the only person, you get almost this tunnel vision thinking that you're so alone. And so it's good to remember that, you know, if you do talk about these things, a lot of people are actually going to be able to understand and relate to you. And I think if we had more of that understanding, like you talk about in your posts, like it's good to know that there are people there for you and things like that. So I loved your post, and I'm crossing my fingers that Lita gives you a really good pot.
See, you did a great job of explaining my post. A better job of explaining it than me. She just let you.
We'll see what pie you get. So I've never experienced like myself any friends or anything, you know, committing suicide or anything, but I've heard plenty from other friends and that have had people do that. And it weighs heavy on me, this topic. It is a very, very heavy topic, and it is not easy to talk about. Let's say you got to have a lot of balls to talk about it, honestly. That's what Naja had. She had balls in this post. I'm sorry I haven't commented yet. It was late at night. It was 1 o'clock in the morning that I was reading posts last night, I'll admit. And I passed out. Yeah, balls. No, okay.
Balls. We're talking about it all today.
Well, I mean, like, seriously, what can I say? You guys have already said half of what I wanted to say, especially Kat. You know, it's a very heavy topic. You know, did you smash it out the park? Let's see. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I always love your posts. I've loved every single post I've ever read by you, Naja. There's just this aura about you that you just, it's like hard hitting in your face. Right, this is it. This is what I'm talking about. Not like in a mean way. Like she's got some That's all I want to say. You've got some and this is one of your more subtle. This is one of your more subtle posts. Like really, really gentle.
I was trying very hard.
You were. I felt it. Like I've heard about the movie Colourful, and I watched many reviews in that, and I've read maybe a couple of reviews on it, but no one really described it next to how you did. Let's say no one described it how you did, and it was a wonderful post.
One of those. Just one of those movies that sneaks up on you. Yeah. Like, I saw it and I was just like, every time I see it, I'm just like, dang, I get the same feeling every time. Like, man, I should go do something exciting, or I don't know, do something. It just makes you want to do something. Looking at my own posts. I mean,
now
I'm going to be
very, very important verdict.
Oh yeah, my pie.
You get rhubarb pie. If anybody's actually had rhubarb pie. Rhubarb is the most.
Rhubarb is good.
Rhubarb pie. It's have you ever had rhubarb?
I have, and it's delicious.
Rhubarb is it goes really well like with pears and apples. It's got a very sweet kind of aftertaste it does. And of course you're sweet, Naja. So you get a rhubarb pie.
Yay!
I will leave a comment later, I promise, when I'm not busy.
Yeah.
I was like, I think about that pie now.
I got my pie. I probably need it.
Like, ooh, pie. Anyway, okay.
I mean, the last takeaway from my post was just, if you suspect something or if you feel like someone's withdrawn, reach out. Even if it's not what you think it is, just let them know that you said hello. Just say hi. What are you doing, Lita? You're waiting.
Through action, your important words. Reach out.
Yeah, just say hi. It's really that simple. Just say hello.
Don't say hi to me. I might give you a crap pie.
Say hi to Lita either way. She'll either respond or she won't, but just reach out. That's the best thing you can do for someone that's feeling a certain type of way. It's just reaching out. Letting them know they're not alone. Having a conversation. Talking about haiku, stuff.
Hey, if anybody's seen the movie The Help, if anybody's seen the movie The Help,
the maid.
Yeah. And then Miss what was the name of the pie that she gives?
She made I'm not going to say it out loud, but she definitely made her a poo pie full of poo. I do recall
that was a great moment. I was laughing so much.
I was like in the theater, like, yes, perfection.
Okay, everybody. How did we get onto the last post already?
It's because we're awesome. That's how. The last post that I'm talking about is, yes, you do need to watch Colorful. Everybody watch Colorful immediately. The last post is Lynn, and she looked at the Power Rangers movie, not the Mr. Ooze one, but the one that happened back in March 2017. Lynn, if you're still with us.
No, she's not.
If you still hear my voice from the other side. I love your post. I just want to tell you that I love everything that you write, because you always manage to succinctly and just put everything into your post with the least amount of words. It's like a skill. Like, you get all of this detail and all of this research, and it's usually less, like 500 words or less, your post. And it's just, it's a godsend, really. It's beautiful. It's a gift. It's a gift. The rest of you should take notes. All of you. You too, Lita. You take short posts. Especially you, Kat, But I really like this post because I like this post for the same reason I liked Rye's post last month. She didn't necessarily pick an anime, she picked something else, but it still worked. I like when you guys think outside the box and pick things that aren't necessarily anime or otaku related. Much appreciated. But I really like Lynn's post because she broke down each of the Rangers' kind of backgrounds and how being a Power Ranger allowed them to branch out and be their true selves. Normally when we think of superheroes and their secret identities, we think of their hero persona as the mask and the civilian persona as the kind of the real them, the real person that they are. But the way she looked at it, she explained that being Power Rangers is what allowed them to be themselves. It gave them the strength, the courage to act on their own, to act on what they always wanted to. Like Jason, he was always the superstar. I've never seen this movie. I'm literally going off of what was in her post. So if you haven't seen it, spoilers. But how he's the superstar athlete and how he kind of wanted to break away from that persona and be a bit more. And being a Power Ranger allowed him to be a leader outside of his status as athlete, popular kid. Same with trying to remember. I don't have the post up in front of me. Trini, I believe? No. Yes, Trini. She was struggling with her sexuality and being who she was in her, and being comfortable in her own skin, and being a Power Ranger helped her be comfortable. Those sorts of things. I really like this post. Really nice. Very short, very sweet. Just enough detail to get you the gist of what's going on. And she did a great job of explaining how being a Power Ranger was a strength for each of them. Lynn raps. Excuse me.
No, yeah, she does actually. She's rapped with me in Discord. Good times, good times.
Yeah. Here I am giving this heartfelt, like,
yeah, she's not here, by the
description
way.
of this post, and I look over and it's Lynn raps.
Lynn's actually probably going to watch this later. She's actually gone off with her sister somewhere, by the way. So
Yeah, I knew she'd gone off with someone, but yeah, I was just saying, like, I want to hear this. I want to hear these beats. I want to hear these beats.
Anyway,
you're saying, no, we don't want to hear it. I do want to hear it now.
I do want to hear it.
We need peer pressure. Peer pressure.
So, besides my need to hear Lynn's rap single, I also enjoyed her post very much. I need to, you know what? I did not know. You know, I obviously grew up watching Power Rangers, and when the Power Rangers movie was like announced, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I wasn't like super pumped to go see it because I guess I assumed that would still have that same like feel from, you know, that the Goo phase and all that stuff, and I was like, I'm not really like, you know, I'm just like, that's not my thing anymore. I thought like maybe if it comes out on a movie or something, we might get it because Nadia, my daughter, might be really interested into it. And then I read Lynn's post, and she talks about like the characters and their different developments and things like that. And I was like, wow, man, Power Rangers got way cool. Like, not that they weren't like cool before, but like they're dealing with a lot more like in-depth issues. I mean, like in the original like Power Rangers, like what this is based off, like the real show, I mean, there wasn't any of those, you know, kinds of like thoughts and emotions going on. Like they were all just kind of doing little kung fu moves and making 90s jokes.
Raise his hand. The Super Sentai series was definitely a bit more dramatic. They had a lot of issues.
Yeah, see, and I've never seen that before. And so I didn't realize how, like, in-depth Power Rangers got. So now I feel like I have to go and watch this and get into this because after I read her post, I was like, I misjudged this series. I need to go and actually learn my shit on this because I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, so it was very cool. Well done, Lita, or well done, Lynn. Hope Lita gives you
okay, well done me. Yay!
Well done, Lita, for confirming that Lynn raps.
Okay.
All right.
I have nothing to say.
All right, that's it for the live stream, everybody.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, nobody's done it yet. How can they not do that? We're talking about the Power Rangers. Good Power Rangers! My God, do you know how much nostalgia that holds for me? Do you guys have any idea? Hey. Any idea? No.
I do.
Of course not. I agree with you, Naja, that she keeps her posts like short and simple. I wish I could. Maybe I'll attempt it for next month. I'll do that as a goal. I'll impress you. Anyway, I really wanted to see the Power Rangers movie, actually. You know, I'm so trashy. You have no idea how trashy I can get watching certain things. But anyway, I really loved how she described individually of the struggles of each of the characters, each of the Rangers. I liked how some of the names relate back to like the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which sometimes I might watch in the morning while I'm having breakfast on Netflix. Sometimes, maybe yesterday morning. Shh.
They're all on Netflix, all of them.
Yeah, but yeah, look, Nick Lynn hit it right in the bud, and I'm glad she thought outside the box. She makes me want to think outside the box now for next month. She makes me want to think about that, and she did a great job. And I mean, this movie didn't do so great in the box office, I'll say right now. And this movie, this series of the Power Rangers movie is supposed to get actually six other sequels. It was supposed to have these 6 other movies, but I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. But yeah, that's right.
Why?
Don't know. But he didn't do well in the box office, so I'm kind of doubting it. But you know, that I was kind of anticipating it might not do well, but who cares? I mean, like Lynn doesn't care about, you know, chantering on about how much she loves the Power Rangers, because we're one in the same. But this was a really great post, Lynn. Something different from you, something different, which was good. So let's see the very, very last verdict of pies. I apologize for other people I haven't given pies, because the idea came like halfway through this stream. Let's see. You can have the cranberry pie, because Lynn loves her desserts. She loves sweet things. So Lynn, you get a cranberry pie. Oh, cranberries. Okay. Oh, have we reached the end already?
Yeah.
Sad face. It's okay, everybody. You can blame me. I have time constraints today. That's why everybody has been so nice. Naja.
Well, this is the first time we're done before midnight. I'm actually surprised.
I know. I'm not falling asleep on stream, so that's exciting.
Exactly.
Actually, it's even worse today because you guys can't see my face. I could have just been asleep, and you guys never know. You'd be like,
that's right. We would have just said, "Oh, that cat. Her Naja is so not best boy. Her Naja is so."
I would have like woken up and been like, "No, I can't."
That's all we had to say. She literally would have woken up and been like, "What? What did you do?" It's like when you guys say Suki in the chat and I show up and I'm just like, "Wait, what?"
Oh god. Oh, please.
Heard something.
No, kidding.
Hey. He's the best one. Oh,
I'm thinking I might have to bust out my haiku for this June's tour. I've been considering it.
No, don't do it.
I think I might have to.
We're gonna fight over this. We're gonna fight over this one, man. We're gonna have to fight over this one, Kat.
Fight.
I haven't thought of anything yet. I've not thought of anything. I'm very weighing on the decision.
It's teamwork this time. I mean, it's team this time, right?
Yes, team. Pride Month.
I might go in a different direction. I don't know. We'll see. I've been playing around with ideas. Not good ones, but ideas.
The first thing that came to my mind. Well, actually, the first thing that came to my mind was Dragon Ball Z. We talked about this earlier, but then I feel like it'll be much too like the idea that I was going to have will be. It was actually very similar to what Matt did for his post this time. So I was like, I can't do that. So then haiku came to mind, but now I'm not 100% sure if I will do that or not. If I do it, I think I'll put like a different spin on it. Yeah, then just like a stereotypical teen talk kind of a thing. Not that I shouldn't say stereotypical, but I feel like if you think haiku, you'd immediately think about teamwork. So I'm trying to think of like a different spin I could put on it. I don't know. My post will be a mystery to even myself. Like,
I don't know. I might do a BL. Who knows? I'm feeling it.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll do Yuri. Ooh, Lita do Yuri. Ooh. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea. I'm looking at my manga shelf and I'm like, I got enough BL on here to pick something.
I'm sure you do. I don't know. I haven't read enough. I've got time. Okay, I think, and everybody else in the chat, you guys get. Did I hand out apple pie yet? No. Actually, you guys get strawberry pie. I've tasted that stuff before, and it's amazing. So you guys in the chat, you get strawberry pie. It's just this stream's all bit about pie, apparently.
Well, see, you already know part of the thing you have to put for the thumbnail. You have to have at least a slice of pie on there.
Yes. I know. Clickbait is pie. No. Okay. Oh, well, everybody, this concludes our end of live stream for the month of May. This is Strength. I really hope you enjoyed this, and for the people that will probably go rewatch this later, and that you guys should totally come follow us on OWLS. You are welcome to be part of the team, but you will have to follow us on the links first. You can follow us at our blog, as well by WordPress. All the links will be in the description down below. You can follow us on Twitter at OWLS Bloggers, where I do most of the tweeting. And you can follow and you can follow us on Facebook. We're on Facebook. We're on over 200 followers. Woo-hoo!
We're on
likes,
Facebook,
subscribe.
Twitter, WordPress,
And yes, we have
YouTube.
certain things in the works. Yes, Naja is in charge of the WordPress. Go Naja.
I'm in charge of everything.
Yeah, you're in charge I'm in charge of a lot of things. This is
Evil laugh.
evil laugh. But look, yeah. I want to thank you, Naja and Kat, for being just such lovely hosts and lovely members. Anyway. I promise next month won't be so time constricted, people, I promise. And we are planning that high Q live stream, or just fangirl live stream.
I need dates. I need time.
Okay. You know, some of us can't just say right on the spot, you know. Everybody didn't come here to hear us talk about high Q.
Yes, they did.
Oh, God.
They did. Actually, what we don't know is they did.
All right.
Especially with Suki. Like, I've got, like, Suki's thighs behind me. Like, dude.
Right?
All I can see is his legs. All I can see is his long legs. No. Okay. All right. Before we get on a high Q tangent, Naja, Kat, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye to our lovely listeners.
I refuse.
She doesn't want this to end.
See you guys.
See you later.
See you later as well, everybody. Thank you for stopping in on our stream, and we will see you again next month and our wrap up, and also hopefully for some super cool haiku talk, because that's the best.
No.
And